Hello, hello. Happy Distaff Day. It is officially time to get back to spinning. If you've been watching the stream, you know this story. So, I have made it through my 12 days of Christmas. Last night was the last one. And this is my normal time to stream. So now I'm going to go back to my 3 times a week. But I am going to spin tonight. I'm going to ply, actually. Empty 2 more Roberta bobbins. The good news, the really, really good news is hubby worked on my aura today. And he actually got it to the point where it's not clunking anymore. And we know the problem. He thinks I ought to go ahead and order another part, which I don't know how I'm going to do. I'm going to contact Woolery first. They do supply things like drive bands and all that. So if they have a way to order through Magicraft, I'm going to ask them first. Otherwise, I'm going to have to contact Magicraft myself. But he did get it fixed, so I am so excited about that. Hi, Kay. Happy Distaff Day. So anyway, I have a quiet aura again, and I'm really pleased. I am going to ply on that, the Merino Angora that I spun during the last bunches of streams, and empty these 2 more bobbins. So anyway, I don't really have any other news. It was a long day. It was an extremely cold day. We stayed down around 10 degrees until maybe we got up to 15. And I'm just miserable. We can't get the house over 65 degrees. Even with the furnace running, it's just one of those not good for old houses cold days. I did take a walk out in the snow today, which was fun. I kept myself safe and took my walking stick with me. And it was pretty because by then the sun had come out. It was cold, but it was crisp, and it's snow. We so seldom have snow. I had a good time. My cat loves the snow. He has been in and out of the house all day. But when he's not out in the snow, he's upstairs in the warmest room of the house, right? Keeping warm. So, Kay, I hope you're doing good. I'm going to get to doing a little bit of, whoops, sorry about that. Get to the right screen. There we go. Do a little bit of applying on this Midnight Blue Merino Angora. See if I can remember which way I need to go here to apply. I don't know. Hubby took all of the crank part apart. There was a lot of gunk on it, and he cleaned that up. I cleaned the wheel up, the wood, which has nothing to do with anything getting better, but it made me feel better, and my aura looks good now. And he says he thinks one area is a little stripped, and that's not keeping a part in a piece in place where it should be, which is why that then slips and ends up making that horrible racket when I treadle. So that's the part I'm going to try and look into getting. I don't know if we will or not. But that was our biggest accomplishment today. You have the entire weekend off for once. Well, no wonder it's a TGIF for you. That is awesome. I had no incentive today, though. I mean, if I didn't force myself to do something, I was sitting under a blanket and really not even knitting. I started a sock yesterday evening. I knit 6 rows on it. That's 6 rows on the socks. Come on, 72 stitches. That's not a lot of knitting. But it's called the Flying Dutchman. It's a Ravelry pattern that's free. And Sock Madness is doing two of this designer's socks as what they call test runs. They're totally unjudged. They will, you submit it to a page on their group on Ravelry, the thread, instead of an email. They will tell you what you did or did not do, that you should have or shouldn't have, if it was a true sock for qualification. It's a really cool thing. They're not, these people who have never done Sock Madness before, they're not throwing them to the wolves if they get there early, right? They're already there. I just was in the mood to have a sock to knit, but it gets me a little more motivated. There is a deadline. You need the pair done by January 17th, so I have 10 more days. I probably am not going to get it done, but especially if I have a day like today where I just can't even pick up knitting. I did some reading this afternoon. That was delightful. It won't take long. In another day or so, we're going to have 50 degrees again. Hi, Mass Bandit. I'm doing good. Thank you. How are you? We ended up with 4 inches of snow. Not a whole lot, but I went out and walked in it today. Did you work today, Mass Bandit? You streamed and did some adulting. Yeah. So, yes, I know that days off can be just as tiring as... I feel so tired and achy and grumpy when it's extremely cold like it was today. We have not tried to go out yet. Boy, this morning the news was full of how many accidents were occurring. But they have dealt with all but the really smallest roads. And I could walked up my lane and I could see our road is fine. Our lane is still snow covered, but the roads are fine. So we probably could have gone. We just didn't. I have a super warm floor length robe, and I put that on this morning, and I seriously considered not ever getting dressed and just streaming in the robe tonight. I thought, but I really did want to get out and do some walking. I am better if I do a little bit of exercise. So I got dressed. High of 4, but not much wind. That's exactly what we had here, except a little warmer. It was a high, I think, of 18, but most of the time, I mean, we started out around 6 and it just kept going up and up a little bit. The thing is, the sun was shining, but there's no warmth to it when there's snow on the ground. Next week, I will start working upstairs. Maybe even a little bit Sunday morning. But hubby painted the bookcase, and I just want to make sure that paint is really good and set before I start putting books on it. It's he painted it on Wednesday, so it should be good. I guess I needed a day off. You know, when you're home all the time, there really is no days off. And sometimes my body just tells me you're not going to do anything today. Nothing major anyway. That's the wrong way. Go the other way. There we go. Go. Ugh. I'm getting to the point where I'm seriously thinking it's time to take the Christmas tree down. I thought I was going to leave it up another week or so. Doesn't take long for me to. It's. I don't know. It's very, very pretty. Yours is still up, but you started taking the decorations off. Can't find your ornament box with the boxes and wrapping stuff. Yeah, that's the thing. I have to unpack the closet that I have a old staircase, right? And underneath that is a Harry Potter closet. If you watch the Harry Potter movies, you know he had his bedroom in the closet under the stairs. I have one of those closets. That's where Christmas lives. Except the artificial tree can't fit under there. It's upstairs. It's like a 3D puzzle. You know, it goes real. You can stand in it, and then of course it goes down to about a foot, maybe. So you know, one box fits in there, and then two boxes go in front of that, and then two boxes, two more, and then one box can go on those four. You know, it. That's how you have to pack it, unpack it. And yeah, I have way too many Christmas decorations because my husband's collection is Christmas houses, and some are lit and some are not. And I collect Santas, and some are good size and some are small, and you know those are all packed away in boxes. I don't get them out every year. Some years I get the Santas out, some years I get the Christmas houses out. But this year I didn't get either one. I just got the Christmas tree and put that up because we weren't home that much. So I have a lot. I just don't get it out all of it every year. Need to fill this other end. It's all getting up on the one end. Wow. Big clump. This merino angora yarn's thicker. Hope it all fits on this bobbin. I know it will. I say that every time I'm plying. These are big bobbins, it'll fit, but this yarn is a little thicker than that pink was. You keep falling asleep on your desk. Frolic is trying to enable you to start spinning? Really? Oh, Mass Bandit, I have days like that. Is that a... That wasn't intentional, I am assuming that it's just you couldn't... You wake up and you can't go back to sleep. I mean, that's what happens to me. And it doesn't happen all the time. It just sometimes, once I wake up, I just can't get back to sleep. I think, you know, and it's a hard cycle because then you want to go to bed early, fall asleep earlier in the night, and that you get your hours in and then wake up early again. Sometimes I don't mind getting up. The house is quiet, right? I'll read, like the TV isn't on because hubby is asleep. But sometimes I don't really want to be out of bed, right? It's nice and warm. And you can't lay in bed awake. It drives me batty. And sometimes it's just plain uncomfortable, you know. Or the crazy cat is driving me crazy because he's laying right where I want to put my feet. Oh, your cross stitch is gorgeous, and you know it takes a lot of your time. It's very time consuming, and I'll tell you, you're not really a knitter. I am not trying to discourage you. I'm just being a little pointing out a few things. You're going to have a lot of yarn, and I am not capable of making anything other than a crewel yarn to stitch with, right? I can't make anything finer than that for any of the artwork, needle art work. I think there are people who make silk embroidery thread and it'd be like a 2-ply. It's not, you would not stitch with it as a single ply like you can sometimes with your embroidery floss. So, unless you have a reason for wanting to make a lot of yarn, then you're going to have yarn to use, you know? Does that make sense? I picked up spinning for a really avid hobby when I decided to raise Angora rabbits, and I had the Angora fiber. That's when I really geared up and started making spinning pretty much my main hobby. It is fun to learn something, and you and I are, I know you like that too, especially the old time crafts, and there's nothing wrong with learning it a little bit and deciding, that you have added that to your skill. Because it is pretty amazing to take fiber and feel the process of pulling it so that it's aligned and seeing that twist run into it and seeing the thread, your yarn being created. It's very addicting that way. Very, very enjoyable, very zen, very relaxing. No counting. You know, you don't have to count how many squares over. You want to put the red X on your like your embroidery. That my Angora had a lot of neps in it. Just natural short places of the fiber. So this is going to be a little bit of a thick and thin yarn. Going to have some texture to it when it gets knit up. So I'm at a real stopping point here in all my projects. I will have 2 of these big bobbins to skein off. But I'm at a point where now it's time to decide whether I'm going to spin a whole bunch of mini skeins from the fiber exchange or grab a couple 4 or 8 ounce braids to spin. That's what I'm saying. I don't have specific plans right now. Of what's next. I haven't really decided what's next. And part of that is like, what am I in the mood to work on, you know? Okay, I need a finger stretch break. Yep. Oh, that's Bandits. You did drop spindle when you were in the SCA and enjoyed that, but wasn't very good at it though. Well, that yeah, that's a perfect uh, reason. I agree, right there. I have gone to some Ren fairs and spun at the Ren fairs. I enjoy going. Um, if we're going to listen to music, like outside concert or something like that, you know, um, I take my drop spindle with me. And I often end up talking to people, about it because it isn't always reenactment. It isn't always the appropriate thing for, right. It's a modern day event that we're going to. Before the pandemic, we used to go pretty regularly to a winery that's not too far from us that would have music, and we'd sit there and have a glass of wine and listen to the whatever music they had that particular Saturday evening. I would spin there a lot. They got very used to that, seeing me spinning. There was, the crowd of people tended to be a little bit local, and definitely people who supported the winery, so they would be the same people coming back a lot of times. But I just never spin with a drop spindle at home. If the spinning wheels are available, that's what I use. And if I'm outside sitting on the porch, I am usually processing fiber. I'm usually doing something with the fiber and not spinning it, as far as getting it prepped for spinning. It is. It is a lot of work. There's a lot of steps, and the only reason I do it is because I enjoy it. It is as relaxing in many cases as uh, the actual spinning. Uh-oh. I would never dare spin a single on this as completely full as this bobbin would let you. Well, I could, but I would need that to then ply it on another big bobbin, because two of my small bobbins being plied together will fill this bobbin about 3/4 full. They do make spinning wheels with bobbins bigger than these, but I've never actually spun on it. Getting down there. Whoops. Need to pay attention to what I'm doing. I just hit the flyer. I think I had 5 ounces of fiber when I started out. I don't know. After I finish a skein of yarn, I record the yards in an approximation. It's never totally exact, but it's approximation of the yards. What construction is, 2-ply, whatever, and the fiber. But I never worry about weight. It really doesn't matter to me. Yardage is the only thing that's really important. But when I'm working with fiber, it's all about weight. I want to divide the whatever I have into half so that I have this, approximate same amount on one of 2 bobbins, so I can ply it. When I buy a fleece, I'll know how many pounds are in that fleece. When I buy an already processed, dyed braid of fiber, I want to know how many ounces I'm getting for that price. It's all about weight. And you can't always say 4 ounces of fiber is going to give me 200 yards. It really depends on the type of fiber it is. So you get anywhere from 100 to 150. I can't even say I have ever figured up an average yards that I get out of an ounce of fiber, because it really varies with the fiber. Okay, Mass Bandit. See you again. I'll be back on Sunday afternoon, and I hope that you have a good night, get some sleep, and sleep till the daylight. That's an angel? I think it's your angel. Your dog likes hash browns now? Was there a time you knew that your dog didn't like hash browns? I thought dogs ate everything. Is your dog sneaking the hash browns when you're not looking? You don't think she had an opinion? She's never shown any interest in them before. Well, you got a good fry on them this time. Yeah. Things coming off the lazy cave here. There's something very satisfying about emptying bobbins and having empty bobbins. Okay, I'm going to show you the pattern of the sock I started. I'm getting a link here. It's called Something Made Her Decide to Sit There and Paw at Me Until I Gave Her a Little Bite. They must have smelled good. It's called The Flying Dutchman. It's on Ravelry. And I am using up a dark navy and a white. It's stark contrast. The dark navy has been in my sock yarn forever because I hate knitting with dark yarn, but I'm using it for this. I hope it works. It's a lot of stranding, and that's the reason I'm doing it, because I really want to work on stranding really comfortably loose so that I can make socks. I can strand flat things. It's the round that is really, really hard. So it's a true practice for sock madness. I don't quite get how they get that boat to pop up like that. I mean, it's a line by line pattern, right? You just knit it line by line. So I may be doing some knitting on stream. The competition's not going. It's just that I'd like to get it done before March. Well, one bobbin is finishing up, and other bobbin has quite a fair amount on it. Not a lot, but enough I'm going to have to do a little bit of finagling like I do. Oh, there's not that much on there. I did pretty good. All right, let's see here. Oh, you are so in the way. There you go. Huh. Didn't get twisted real well. All right. All right. That looks good. Looks very good. Oh, I just knocked the dry band off. It's all right. It don't go anywhere. Oh, let's see. Guess what? I have opened all the little packages. I didn't do the last on stream, but here are the last, most recent ones. I don't know how she gets an actual gray. I mean, that looks green on there, but that is like gray. I mean, deep gray. It's really cool. So these are all the individual colors. This is the 4-ounce braid, and I am going to open that on stream. I am going to be done with this Advent box. I'm so happy with that I bought it. I have loved it. Just absolutely loved it. The colors are amazing. She has impeccable ability to make these roll-logs that look so good. They're just like perfect. So here we go. Let's see what she's including that supposedly goes with all these colors. Oh, I don't know if it does or not, but look how she did this up. And a nice drawstring bag. She is really paid attention to so much detail. And there's the stash tea, Christmas morning. Christmas morning. I love that bag. That's going to be handy. Okay, we have purple. Does it? Nope, doesn't look purple in there. Doesn't look real purple in there. It is a blue. It really is kind of a purpley blue. No indication of the fiber, but it's very soft. Feels like merino, I think. Awesome. That's a nice braid. So that goes probably not with the colors, to be honest. Oh, look, it's just like the tissue paper, practically. Looks more purple against the tissue. To be honest with you, I'm going to spin them, each of the colors, as a separate mini skein. And then I'll spin this as a separate skein. But I'm going to make these mini skeins because I think they aren't going to go all in the same project. Maybe. I mean, I see some people making Advent shawls. If I would pick a color to go with all of these, it'd be a real pale blue-gray, I think. But you know, with all the rainbow, oranges and reds and everything, yellows, they're all unique individually. The other thing would be to spin them sequentially, because they are in a color, sort of a color wheel sequence. Spin them sequentially, just starting with this one, and knit them that way, right? The thing about that is, okay, so I have 2 row logs. If I did 2 bobbins, 1 row log on each, the colors are eventually not going to match. They're not going to come out right. So I still think the mini skein idea is a better idea. They're going to be cute, aren't they? They're just going to be like adorable, and I won't want to use them. I know. I'm so happy I got it. It was the first time I've ever done an Advent calendar. I debated a while because of the cost, but it has been a treat. It has really been a treat. And of course I told hubby that's what he got me for Christmas, because that's what he got me for Christmas. And I need to find tissue paper that has stars on it. That is pretty cool. Well, I am going to call it a night. It's a little early. I'm tired too. I'm tired from doing absolutely nothing. I'll tell you. It is just one of those really low energy days, so that's okay. And I am going to be back on Sunday afternoon. And I think between today and then, I'm going to do a little stash diving and see if I can get something to get me all excited about spinning something again. Or I may start on the mini skates from one of the fiber exchanges. So we'll see how it goes. Kay, it's been good talking to you. I hope you have a wonderful weekend. You'll tell me all about it on Sunday if you have a chance, if you're not too busy. So you all take care. I'm not going to bother rating anybody tonight. Just going to say happy spinning. Have a good weekend. Bye.